Please
No, we're not. We're not doing that.
There's no helpline. Please don't let there be a helpline chance, though. Oh, look at that flowing hair. I'm jealous.
And
look at that.
Look at the icicles matching.
That's clever.
I like that.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I think is that Chance from Team 10? I think he's like friends with Logan Paul. Okay, I've been told by production that is correct. So, but or maybe was previously, not exactly sure.
Chance is a beast, making it through all the way with Fruitcake here. And let's talk about NICKMERCS and HD. That last series, guys. It's got my heart beating, ready to see what's going to go on this game. Maybe it's a little mental break, actually, for NICKMERCS and HD. You know, you're expecting to go hard, but you're not expecting to have to push it to the limit for 3 games in a row. I mean, I don't know. I'm even doing Landon dancing right now.
I am. Well, you said push it to the limit. I immediately had the lyrics going through my head.
Push it.
Real good. That's real good.
Push it.
Also, shout out to Chance rocking the balloon. Right, the balloons for the melee weapon.
Oh, one of my favorites.
That's mine. That's what I'm rocking right now, along with the squad leader and also the. Okay, I know I'm gonna get flack from Taylor because no, I didn't originally have the Red Knight, but I have the Red Knight shield in the back. That's what I'm currently rocking. What are you guys rocking for your setups as far as your characters?
I'm definitely going with Lagertha. I'm going with the Viking, the female Viking. That's my choice, of course, with the Black Knight shield in the back because
very nice.
It's a very unique one. But that's kind of my setup, but. Hey, man, Retail Row was the drop for Chance and Fruitcake, looking pretty strong overall. Got 2 kills in their name. And we also have a Retail Row for NICKMERCS and HD, trying to match that kind of style. But this is probably one of the most passive drops that we have seen NICKMERCS and HD do as of yet, right? Typically, we're seeing them drop hot drops right where 15 people are at or maybe 20 people are at. But they're going to be taking it a little bit slow here. So I'm kind of curious to see how well they do their rotations because that's something that in the past that's not been their area. But NICKMERCS is dancing. You got to be careful. He'll luckily, I think he's going to get away. And yes, he will, but does get shot from the top, taking another shot. But luckily, we're going to see HD being the savior and helping him out.
Distortion coming around, and not only is NICKMERCS' face never being shown, but it's actually out of focus right now. He's actually been blowing away the competition so hard that last series. It's just out of focus. And we saw Nate actually pass by in the background with a neck pillow on. Apparently he's going to the airport tonight, just wearing that around the house. As I can totally approve of that, as I play with a pillow in my lap at all times and get made fun of for it when
Is that right?
people see me stand up. Blankets occasionally.
Oh, I love rocking blankets.
You got to be comfortable while you're gaming, right? Especially when you're playing for 20 grand. So let's just.
I also happen to lean back in my chair, which is probably not a good practice, but it's chill.
I actually like to play Descended from a Jungle Gym just by my ankles. So yeah, it really helps me.
On the monkey bars,
get all the blood to my head, so I'm thinking at full capacity at that point while I'm upside down.
I wonder what
I play through a series of mirrors while I'm in the bathroom actually that lead to my actual setup. So
wow.
Yeah, just in case bathroom breaks, there's no breaks. Period, Taylor. That's pretty much the way we've been keeping it for at least 10 years. I mean, I've actually.
So Legion has a jungle gym that he suspends from actually in a bathroom. And speaking of that, Chance has been taken down.
Yeah, but talk about the teammate, the assist right now. Fruitcake able to just drop that guy. 6 total eliminations now coming from Chance. Fruitcake early lead for them against NICKMERCS and HighDistortion, though all in the same place.
Definitely looking pretty strong. Got to say, this is the first time we've seen Chance and Fruitcake so far, and they are looking good. Fruitcake looking like a whole snack over there, helping pick up Chance. That's exactly what we wanted to see from him, of course, though. Have any of you guys seen Fruitcake play before? But look at that. HighDistortion does, in fact, get stuck. He's going to be down
to the backside
to about 25 HP. Can HD go big and get the elimine? That is the question. NICKMERCS and HD need to start coming back and picking up some more kills. But if I had to guess at this point, Chance and Fruitcake, I'm kind of, if I were them, I would be wanting to push out, kind of get some distance between me, NICKMERCS, and HD, because I want to maybe hit up Dusty, go over to Salty, or maybe even another area to try and gain that ground. We know rotation's so incredibly important.
Absolutely is. And one thing that's also very important to keep note of, they had the opportunity, Chance and Fruitcake, of course, near brink of elimination there for Chance, but also at the same time, NICKMERCS and HD, they both were going for kind of the res on health. So of course, with a three elimination advantage right now for Chance and Fruitcake, it's a matter of, like I said, what's the rotation going to be? Are you going to play the gatekeeping role? You have the entire western portion of the map available. Like I said, Salty Springs, you mentioned Dusty Divot as well. A lot of opportunities that you can really go toward, but it looks like HD and NICKMERCS kind of going to the latter parts of that strategy. So pretty interesting. I don't mind the call here because of the amount of people that are going to be coming, from the eastern portion of the map in dunes or whatever you like to call it. But yeah, kind of interesting strategy being brought out from NICKMERCS and HD, despite not really going toward where the zone is.
Absolutely. So, and Legion, coming from your perspective, do you like the fact NICKMERCS and HD are pushing into Desert? Because obviously they're pushing outside of Circle. The Storm is already moving in. So they're going to have to cover some ground once the Storm moves in, but obviously wanting to catch those people off guard.
Yeah, I think it's a good play for Nick and HD here in this situation, because if they aren't able to spot any players, they will be able to just find a rift, find one of those portals, hopefully just take it and be able to drift back in towards where the population might be. But you see, once again, so early on, because of these heavily populated hot drops, you're seeing so many of these players getting taken out early, which means if you are running into a squad, more than likely they're fully looted up coming from one of these larger areas, which means if you're running out of here like Nick and HD with absolutely no shields, it's going to be a little bit tougher of a gunfight. Of course, Fruitcake spotting another player and looking like they're actually getting there just a bit quicker on Racetrack. Great shots out of him there with that blue AR, and it looks like Chance is just going to continue knocking as he's going to be watching his teammate and making sure they get those eliminations.
Yeah, very good shots coming in from Fruitcake. Chance being the aggressor now. He's going to be pushing up, trying to get over this 1-by-1 as there is, in fact, going to be a player just over there as we see Fruitcake. Great support role, knocking down that wall, forcing the opponent to kind of rotate out. And great use of getting the high ground from Chance, as that's going to be an instant elimination, picking off that player to continue their lead. They're sitting at 9 as opposed to the 5 on the right from NICKMERCS and HD, as NICKMERCS does pick up a kill himself, as they are now going to be on the outer edge of the Dusty Divot. Of course, though, with Chance and Fruitcake rotating back to Racetrack, seemed to be a wise choice. And
one thing that I noticed as well, actually taking a look at the overall spots, both teams kind of being on the outskirts, at least of Desert, not even working with the zone. One thing that actually happened from HD and NICKMERCS, I was kind of like, okay, they're kind of going in toward where the zone area is going to be at. They actually went more, kind of in favor of that new landing location in Paradise Park. So they kind of were trying to cut off exactly what Chance and Fruitcake were probably going to find. So I like that play actually coming in through from NICKMERCS and HD, trying to cut off Paradise, trying to make sure that they can find any of those eliminations, and also, like we talked about, using that gatekeeping role, which happens to be incredibly popular when it comes into Battle Royale games, making sure that the zone is at your backside and that you basically are in between what the enemy is trying to get toward, which is safety from the Storm, the Blue, whatever you really want to call it in multiple games, the Gas, etc. So let that play coming through from NICKMERCS and HD. They're obviously going to run into quite a few engagements, but that's exactly what this team likes to do. NICKMERCS, though, not exactly stoked about being that low on HP. Thankfully, has found a medkit, though.
Yeah, luckily finds a medkit off that guy's body. It's a solid play from HD and Nick. Just making sure that they're pushing together. At this point in the game, when you're this low health, every bullet that you take is going to be, is going to sincerely put you at a disadvantage. You've got no shields, no blues. At this point, if you're not team shooting, there's a good chance that you're going to be caught by yourself. You get reared one time by one of these hunting rifles, even if it's a green, there's a good chance you're going to be taken out.
Yeah, definitely so, as we see. Still, a little bit of a lull, slowing down a little bit as the players are kind of dwindling away. Only 23 still remaining in terms of overall killability, but we do see another rift being used as they're just trying to kind of spot the competition out there. Heading over to crates, as it looks like that is, in fact, going to be inside of the circle. Fruitcake, he's just going to hover in the air, trying to spot where these last remaining players are going to be, whereas NICKMERCS HD still have quite a few ground to cover, as they'll have to push in towards the Dusty Divot. But overall, still very slow. Of course, game number 1, they can fill each other out. HD and NICKMERCS took a little bit more of a passive start off the beginning. Something that I kind of question, because we know they like their hot drops. Seems like this is kind of something they weren't ready for. I don't know. But then again, it's all about the RNG, right? Spotting the players, and it's just not being found.
Oh, and an ATK actually happens to just roll out from the Storm as the successful elimination comes through from NICKMERCS as well. So I believe that was just one player, probably a Nick A30 type of situation. Medkits gets as far through as he possibly can, and there just happens to be a nice little NICKMERCS just sitting on the edge there, but also in Salty Springs, minute and 30 on the clock until that Storm starts to move in, and there's still players inside of this particular landing zone. And just like that, NICKMERCS, a sniper shot to the chest will actually allow him to no longer be head glitching his webcam, but now to probably be giving some callouts to HD in a very, very precarious situation, but of course has that gold scar in hand.
Yeah, he definitely has the gold scar, and hopefully can put it to good use. NICKMERCS is going to be relatively safe on the other side of this house, so plenty of opportunities for HD to pick him up, but this is going to be a huge momentum boost for Chance and Fruitcake to have the ability to keep pushing forward in the Storm. As there it is, looking like HD is in fact going to be able to res the man of NICKMERCS, and obviously very much needed. NICKMERCS will have a med kit in his inventory in order to get kitted up and continue the push forward. But still, like I said, big momentum boost for Chance and Fruitcake. The Storm is going to be right on their back, but luckily they do have that ATK straight down there, but they still have that team in front of them to worry about.
Yeah, huge momentum boost, but also at the same time, you have almost this entire squad that's just going to be trying to kind of gang over on NICKMERCS and HighDistortion. At this point, they're pushing in on him, and he slips right over his head. NICKMERCS manages to get the knock, spots another player. Will he know that he's hitting on this edge? He does not! Another great knock from Nick. I'm telling you, sometimes being the sleuth pays off. Takes another 2, now only down 1 elimination, as we are going to see them quickly have to rotate out of Salty so they can get to the circle safely, as it's going to be another player's shotgun. So it is, in fact, tied, and this is going to be him and his teammates just trying to push out. Let's see, HD just trying to get some loot before he does hit this flank. He's going to be hiding right outside of that brick building. Those if he can get a nice pop shot off, this is going to set them up, hopefully, with some bandages to make their way to the circle, and, of course, just destroying him as he is going to get taken out. Great plays, now taking the lead, and a nice $30 donation to HD in his stream.
That was a great job getting out of that predicament. Obviously, having a storm to your back and that full squad in front of you, that squad pushing is what gave up really the advantage. They should have never pushed. They should have waited for NICKMERCS and HD, of course, with the storm to their back. They would have to push forward to them, but luckily Christmas came early, and because of that, they are going to have a 1-kill lead now as they were trailing behind 3. So good stuff coming in for NICKMERCS and HD to get out of that situation. They don't grab the ATK. They're just going to push forward on foot. But with that being said, we got Chance and Fruitcake deep within the circle. They're going to be at Tomato Town. Thinking maybe someone pushed in, maybe trying to get the little vantage point inside the circle. I don't know. Typically, no one's going to be home. Maybe they'll spot somebody, but I think NICKMERCS and HG at this point now maybe have a little bit of an advantage pushing in with the storm to their back. They're going to spot players just like them trying to race against the storm.
Exactly. One thing that's been nice for Chance and Fruitcake that we've been obviously discussing a majority of the time has been like, they're slow paced. They haven't really had to do anything. They've had the entirety of the circle in their favor. They were gatekeeping on the entire opposite side of the map where NICKMERCS and HD were just basically trying to stay alive. There was like a 45-second interval where they were just trying to stay up, making sure that they could medkit and whatnot. But I believe we actually do see one player actually get noticed there on Chance's screen, Rock the Rifts. They're going to have somewhat of an idea of one player just on the outskirts here at Tomato Town. Like I said, the advantage, NICKMERCS and HD for the time, but Chance and Fruitcake, like I said, they've had a free reign around the map. Let's see if they can try to capitalize on it. Should be at least somewhat of an easy kill when it comes down to a Tomato Town. Easy related to the factor of not how hard it is to get the kill, but easy in the fact that NICKMERCS and HD are not literally on your heels trying to fight for each and every kill, each and every elimination. But here comes the rush. We'll see how Chance and Fruitcake can do in this situation.
Yep, rush going in for Chance and Fruitcake. Another rush for NICKMERCS and HD as they spot a player coming out of the storm. So engagements on both ends. So a lot to pay attention to as of right now. But Chance, Fruitcake using those bouncer traps to kind of get a little bit of an advantage point on those players up ahead as they're just trying to spot them. Builds over. Unfortunately, Chance will lose the high ground. He's going to have to dip out and try and spot where that player is in fact going to be, trying to shoot him down. NICKMERCS on your screen too, trying to get an elimination as fortunately, nobody's going to be home just yet. HD being the aggressor, he's going to be trying to get that high ground. Chance will pick up an elimination. HD is also going to get a knock himself as both teams doing absolute work on the final remaining players. HD picks up yet another elimination, and that full squad is, in fact, going to be wiped. Chance picking up elimination himself. So now we're looking at 11 on the left and on the right, 13. So still a very close game between the two. 14. So 14 to 11, very close game between the two. Obviously, only game number 1, and once again, I don't know, going into game number 2 is going to be very close, but NICKMERCS, he's getting tagged up himself.
He just needs to go for these shields, thankfully, right? Has that bounce pad, but he needs to use it a casual, 80-plus damage taken off of that enemy. That's going to pepper him up enough to allow HD to come in here for the full-on elimination. Nice assistance coming from NICKMERCS from afar. He also finds one elimination at the exact same time. So does HD. I believe both of them actually have found a bounce pad in a few of these kind of final fights. So regardless of the zone getting ready to move in, they have that movability. They have that kind of transportation at their advantage, at their current disposal for the time. But like I said, great expiring shots, kind of fading shots coming through from Nick, and of course, having that prior chemistry, right? As Gears of War professionals playing alongside each other, for the last 10 years when it comes into esports titles is obviously awesome to see. And you kind of see it in certain situations such as that, where HD is quickly saying, hey, I want to be the aggressor. Nick's probably giving, call-outs from here to there and, labeling different things. But bounce pad number 1, getting rocked to escape from that storm.
And we're talking about the end of the match here. This is just, again, is that veteran play that you just mentioned, Landon. you're seeing basically 6 or 7 eliminations come out of Nick and HD in this last 14 or 15 players that are alive. Chance does manage to get a nice pop shot up there with that sniper rifle, though. Of course, he needs to build himself over there. Try to just close this gap. They're down by about 6 eliminations. Not necessarily a big deal, but when you start the game off with as quickly as NICKMERCS and HD do, game 2 for them, if they extend that 6 to 11, 12 by landing one of those hot drop areas, that's going to be perfect for them. And this is actually ideal for Chance and Fruitcake, as HD does manage to go down. So now Nick in a big build fight by himself, 50 total HP, just trying to stay alive, rotate around, maybe get a couple kills before this game's over with.
Oh, man, HD, like I said, does get thirsted. What a massive moment when it comes down to this game. Thankfully, it comes, there's only a few players left, 3 overall engagements, and we'll see how many NICKMERCS can get involved with, of course, being the latter part in this situation. You see Chance and Fruitcake quickly trying to find as much of that expiring loot as they can, but final zone moving in, and NICKMERCS, another elimination, comes forward, and he happens to be on the bitter side of that. Of course, no res coming in from the opposite team, as Fruitcake will finish off with a very impressive 7 eliminations. We talked about good moments kind of toward the end for HD and NICKMERCS, but they end up getting taken down when there's, a few players last alive. Definitely a situation where you're looking back at it, and we say NICKMERCS and HD, if they get knocked out from the series, you're looking at that moment specifically and saying, hey, you guys were nowhere to be found.
Yeah, what really was it that came down to at least the final ending being that way? I mean, we saw NICKMERCS HD, they land retail, someplace that they typically don't like to go because they like those hot drops, right? But they kind of want to mirror what Chance and Fruitcake is putting up. On top of that, then we see trailing behind quite a bit. Chance and Fruitcake had a sizable lead. I thought they were going to be looking good, right? We saw NICKMERCS HD backs against the storm. Luckily, the team pushes them, make a fatal mistake, allowing them to push forward. But then we see the final score being 18-13 with Nick and HD leading when Chance and Fruitcake had the ability. They were inside the storm. They had the chance to potentially have a huge lead going into game number 2. HD and Nick overtake it. What was the reasoning behind that?
I mean, I don't know about you, Legion, but I thought there was obviously a certain moment where NICKMERCS and HD obviously were, their backs were against the wall. They were sitting in Salty Springs, and that's when we were talking about, there was the ATK that became available, and there was a moment where NICKMERCS was super low on HP, had to get rezzed, and there was a moment where HD was also low on HP. There was a good, maybe like 45 seconds to a minute and a half, somewhere around that particular area. There was one squad, right? Just one squad sitting in Salty Springs that HD and NICKMERCS managed to find, but it took them forever. Like, they were on the outskirts of the map, super, not at all typical spot that they want to be in. And really, I think at that moment, Chance and Fruitcake were not finding anyone. Like, there was a very big or very long dry spell where they were just not having any action around the map. And I said there was one squad. It wasn't as if the entire map was in front of NICKMERCS and HD where they were just kind of pounding through, finding as many eliminations as possible. There was an entire map available, and Chance and Fruitcake did not really, equivalent to. They didn't really, kind of expound on what should be a massive advantage. You have 95% of the map available, you're not finding anything. I think that was one issue we saw Chance and Fruitcake where they either could have taken the lead, taken a big advantage, and it doesn't happen.
I mean, what's the #1 rule in most shooters, right? Don't unnecessarily challenge. And that's what you saw from Nick and HD. They waited for that team to push them. You saw Nick on the side of that broken roof, waited for him to come up, baits him with a shotgun. Of course, they get that one guy that's just kind of all alone by himself in the go-kart, ATK. He gets taken out. Then they take, like you were saying, that 2 minutes. That's 5 eliminations that were just free for them. Chance Fruitcake, nowhere to be seen on the map in terms of being anywhere where there's population. And that just gave Nick and HD the lead. And if they would have been able to actually get some of those eliminations at the end, they would have a far more sizable lead than 5.
Right.
So shout out to Fruitcake and Chance for keeping it together and staying composed and keeping this game as close as possible.
Oh, looks like we're having a classical drop here. It looks like Chance and Fruitcake want to go shifty, whereas NICKMERCS HD, they want to go over towards tilted. Now, we're bringing it back to Season 4, it seems like, right? As we got the shifty tilted drop. Now, talking about it,
there is no one in tilted.
Well, no, there's not, because the thing is you got to
look at the bus dropped right over tilted, though.
I believe didn't it also go over Valhalla too?
I think it did. Valhalla,
so that's the thing.
tilted,
Everybody wanted to go there. So
wow,
this is the thing, right? So obviously Chance. Oh my gosh, hold on. Chance is already down. Fruitcake is last up. So Chance is completely thirsted. Fruitcake now, he's going to be weak himself. He's now in a permanent 1v2. He already came in with the deficit as it was by 6 kills. This is going to spell trouble for Fruitcake. And on top of that too, Shifty. After that, where does he rotate to? He can't go tilted. If he does, he's going to be met up with NICKMERCS and HD, who's already there finding the available kill. kills. But then again, if he goes greasy, he's going to be running to everybody Valhalla. There's a huge potential. Typical Gamer did it earlier, right? He went over to greasy and found a sizable amount of kills. He managed to at least keep the game very close. Fruitcake could do the same thing, but this is a lot of pressure on his back.
Absolutely
solid find with the LMG. I'm telling you, that right after that nice tacker pump is just so advantageous. And you're going to see him find those minis as well. A lot riding on the back of Fruitcake now, officially down. Actually, I still the same amount of kills going into this game as he was starting it. But you got that purple scar from NICKMERCS up there now, still with the shotgun. Of course, that blue tech submachine gun. So he's got his word cut out for him playing against these two. Of course, although nobody is in Tilted, it does give them the opportunity to get a lot of good loot and then push towards a little Viking Valley over there. That's a new one. See what I did there? A new one. New name for ship, a.k.a. Valhalla.
What
definitely
caught my eye was the fact
Minnesota.
that I'm not gonna lie, I never would have thought I'd hear anyone say no one in Tilted right now
Yeah,
at the start
right.
of a game. Like, never thought that would ever be the case, but I don't know, man. It's I guess it's old school now. I mean, I'm waiting for those pictures to pop up on Twitter where it's like only the old school guys remember when Tilted Towers was the main drop. It's like, I don't know. It's really odd to see. One thing that's nice for NICKMERCS and HD that I would definitely hope that they would play, and I'm sure that they will, is play super smart in situations like this, which I'm sure that they know. They're esports veterans for a reason, right? But don't aggress anything that you don't have to. It's not as if you're down in a game. Usually when you're going toward Tilted Towers in a map number 2 position, you're kind of going all to the wall. You're trying every single situation possible. And this spot, though, play passive and play up to your skills. 8 high distortion. Use the push for cover. Oh, my gosh. Shrubs.
Gang.
I thought he was dead for sure.
Shrubs saving lives. High Distortion lives to see another day. Of course, also in assistance with NICKMERCS, who happen to have that purple scar in his possession. But big moment. They stay alive. Another elimination on board. Still, though, not exactly the idealist of spots by any means.
I just want to point out how different this map could have been. Chance and Fruitcake, there was no reason for them. There's really no reason to land inside of the mine itself of Shifty. Go to the outside houses, loot up, and then push in. When you land inside the mine, the loot on the ground is obviously very random. You can there's a lot of different angles you can be taken out of. You never know how many people are going to be over there. You push houses, you loot up, you can push in a more controlled aspect. Chance and Fruitcake, they land houses, then push in. It could have been so much different in this situation, but now Fruitcake is all by himself. But NICKMERCS and HD obviously making it out of Tilted. They're pushing forward, and big difference overall in strategies. 15 to 22, 7 kill lead.
And I think one thing that it looked like NICKMERCS, he's right next to Shifty Shafts as well. I was curious, are they going to try to trail Fruitcake in this situation, which I think absolutely should be the situation here, and at least send Nick, right, with this guy in this situation, right? You got HD Mr. Solo squads. He's used to being in situations like that. I don't think it's harmful whatsoever if you would at least mirror Fruitcake by one player, if not both of them at the same time. And based on their position, like I said, it's not a bad idea to go toward this exact location in general, but I think the idea behind trailing Fruitcake, mirroring him, would be the best idea in this situation.
And if you're Fruitcake, I mean, you kind of got to take these challenges for these full squads lightly. I mean, at this point, he does get a lucky one-off. That guy, I'm pretty sure, had his squad eliminated. He just was already in a gunfight with another team. You do spot that rift, though. I mean, if you're Fruitcake, you try to take it and then spot out some more squads. I feel like at this point in the game, super important. And you got the jump pad in the back pocket as well. So
I think he should go Valhalla here. I think this is a very close quarter situation. Don't put the bounce pad down. Why? Because the enemy can easily rock it as well. I think you go for this, go Valhalla, and you hope to find as many people as possible because NICKMERCS and HD, they're right on your heels. They're not going to be that far behind you. So we'll see what he does here, but this is a massive opportunity. You could argue this is the game-breaking moment for Fruitcake, debating on where he goes, where these squads are at. This is the way to get back in the game.
Salty's not a bad option either. Of course, you have Salty. You can rotate Desert and then go into Dusty too. So a lot of opportunities here from Salty as does spot a player down below trying to slurp down some juice there, but unfortunately he's going to be caught up. Fruitcake, though, will get will make that player considerably weak, but unfortunately not able to finish him off. He's going to have to find a different angle to challenge down below. Of course, that's only one. There's another one straight ahead of him, and that's going to be an instant kill. And I do believe that was a player just below, so good heads-up play from Fruitcake to now put him at 6 total eliminations. He's going to push back in to get this loot from the player he eliminated just before. Not wasting any time shooting down the roof. And he does have a chug jig there. Does he get it? Yes, he does. As he opts out actually to drop one of his weapons to get more of a med slot, but his inventory looking pretty sparse. He's got the purple, of course, scar. He's got the blue pump, but only a common, at least, submachine gun. the silent sub. But still, though, Fruitcake is keeping his team alive 19-22. He's closing that deficit more and more.
I feel like at this point, Fruitcake's actually kind of playing his role as best as you can here in this situation. He's just trying to get off the ground and push towards as fast as he can pretty much any populated area that he can get his hands on. So far, it's working for him, and he's got a 2-kill advantage in this game, obviously down a total of 3 eliminations. But at this point, he does hear somebody, hopefully opts to just spot. Maybe he's going to be building the jump pad here and then take off. Or, no, he actually does find an engagement. Remember, folks, we have no audio to be able to hear that, so we don't know that there's somebody creeping above him on that rock ledge.
Ooh.
Great building, though, from
Wow.
Fruitcake, as he's going to try to opt in and get another kill. Does have those minis in the back pocket, though, as well as that chug jug. If he needs to get away, all he needs to do is casually drop that jump pad and take a dip. Of course, though, he needs all these kills possible. Remember, though, 3 eliminations, not far off. All he has to do
Wow.
is finish these off, grab one more, and then he's taking the lead.
And keeping in mind, right, this is also kind of at a timer. You notice Purple Arrow, NICKMERCS, is quickly on your heels. You need to find as many of these eliminations as possible because while NICKMERCS and HD are on the hunt, they're also in the footsteps of where Fruitcake is running toward. They're not going to be, like in this run that they're making right now, they are not finding any eliminations. You could argue these are the final eliminations that Fruitcake could have for this game, at least uncontested. So he needs to find these in quick succession. Has the opportunity to go for another 10 kills for Fruitcake. Unbelievable play, as I believe he is very close to tying up this game, if not taking the lead by himself.
He's winning by 1 at this point.
My goodness, Fruitcake
has single-handedly kept Chance alive in this tournament against the God Squad of NICKMERCS and HD. What a performance from Fruitcake, obviously showcasing his skills in his first ever Friday Fortnite. What a performance overall. And you know what? I got to give it to him. He's just, honestly, he's been rotating through. He's not really worried too much about his inventory. He's not worried about too much mats. Obviously, he's maxed out at this point, but he's just been racing for those kills, trying to get ahead of NICKMERCS and HD. Obviously, he knows how to play the game, and he's playing it extremely well.
At this point, if you are Fruitcake, you need to separate. Take that jump pad, get away from these guys, make sure you're not too close to them, because if they follow you, they start chasing you, that's going to leave you an opportunity to start focusing more so on not getting cherry-picked versus winning your battles. He's definitely capable of winning battles. He's seemed to swipe 2 squads this game so far. Excellent game 1 as well. Of course, you're going to be watching HD now in a gunfight, knocking one alongside NICKMERCS as he's going to be throwing those C4s, a.k.a. the Cody Explodies, Landon.
Indeed.
My nickname for the C4s, of course.
I respect that. I really like that. Nice one. There's 2 from NICKMERCS. Fantastic combination. At the same time, though, HD very low on health, does not want to be taken down by a stink bomb in the kill feed. That would not look very, very nice. But at the same time, though, NICKMERCS also trying to find as many supporting kills as he possibly can, while Fruitcake off in the distance celebrating the fact that he does have the lead, but for not much longer. Nice squad wipe coming through from Nick and HD, but just like that, HD goes down. NICKMERCS needs to try to go for the res, if not just try to stay alive in this spot. HD gets thirsted, and now it's going to come down to a 1v1 NICKMERCS versus Fruitcake as the intensity continues for HD and NICKMERCS. They just came off of an overtime 1 elimination game, and it very well could be going the distance yet again in a mono situation.
And not to mention, he's playing that gatekeeper role. He has a player just in front of him. Who knows how many more. Also, from the back, you have that desert pushing in, so a lot riding on the line here. NICKMERCS could get sandwiched relatively easily. He will spot that player just in front, being very cautious. I believe that's 2 of them. Not taking a shot just yet. Now he finds the opportunity. He goes for it. Will he get one knock? Oh, the RPG coming in. He's got to be careful. Literally jumps over that RPG to get the high ground. Now he's rotating around. Very smart. Going on top of Log House. He'll get the high ground. Of course, that player just in front of him, but he does. Oh, I thought he ran out of mats at that certain point, but he does get the knockdown. He's got the high ground too. He is all by himself at this point, trying to keep his team alive, taking massive damage. Can he get it with the SMG? Missing a couple of shots. AR out. NICKMERCS drops. Fruitcake, I think, has just taken it. Maybe he has to get at least a couple more kills, but I know the score is incredibly close between the 2. Fruitcake now knows this is his opportunity to single-handedly knock out HD and NICKMERCS. You talk about a team coming into Friday Fortnite with a vengeance. This is the team right here. Fruitcake is showing his worth in this Friday Fortnite right here.
We were making a joke, like, what an amazing, gamer tag that he has in Fruitcake. This guy's a beast. He's an absolute dawn. I mean, we were talking about, his overall play. There was a timer, right? Throughout a lot of this game, he has been on a race. While NICKMERCS and HD were trying to chase him that entire time, they were following in his footsteps. And in following in those footsteps, you're not going to see a whole lot of eliminations. You're just finding the excess loot that Fruitcake was taking down player after player after player. He has found all of these kills, 10 eliminations, right, by himself. No help, right, from Chance. Chance dies early. He's been doing this by himself through the entirety of this game. Solo performances have been the name of week number 10 here in Friday Fortnite, and we could be seeing Fruitcake if he walks away with 4 eliminations, closing out this game, or if he walks away with 3, we could be seeing another overtime game in the
I
losers
think we're going to
bracket.
see another overtime.
You think so?
I think it's going to
Oh,
end
God.
Three eliminations is pretty tough here, especially towards the end of the match. Obviously, you still have 18 players up, but you keep seeing them getting knocked down there in the bottom left of your screen there with that kill counter. And, of course, not that many players, man. I mean, you've got to get 4 to take the lead here. Fruitcake, though, absolutely putting on a show here for the first half of the second game. And, of course, we're going to see if he can close it out and take this lead. Unfortunately, Nick went down, got pushed by quite a few players there. And if they did end up dying, did that give them an additional lead, or did they end up actually getting their teammates up over there in Salty? Because if I'm oh, my goodness, another 2 down.
And one thing that's important, one thing that's very important to mention, right? That's a squad who is just absolutely destroying others. He does not want to face off against the final team. Being in a 1 versus 3 for the rest of the game, it's going to be a very worrisome time. And right, there could be like a 1v2. There's still like a 1v3 possible, but he does not want to go up against the final squad because that's going to be an opportunity for a disaster. Having guys enter in from multiple different positions is going to be a very difficult task. So Fruitcake, yet again, another opportunity where a timer is now set. He's versing 2 enemies, not just NICKMERCS and HighDistortion, but also the future of this game. Can he pull off a clutch by literally having this game done by himself? Can he advance Chance of Fruitcake in the next round?
Well, he knows where the one team is going to be rotating through, and that's going to be from Salty down to, looks like this desert area close to Fatal. So he obviously knows where one team is going to be, so he's got to be careful of that. And I think he's looking for that team. Where is this team rotating out? And he's hit now 3 rifts, and he hasn't spotted anybody just yet, but it looks like now he's finally going to be making his way forward towards those build. Now, this is close to where Nick and HD went down. We obviously know that squad is very solid overall. 3 to tie it, 4 to win it. Finding another bounce pad. Nope, but he's going to go ahead and drop down low. I think he knows there's going to be a player just on the other side of that. And yes, he is, in fact, going to find one. Getting that high ground, jumping down. There's going to be another player to the left of that. He gets one knock, going for the second one. Player is down just below. He's opting to get that thirst. Wisely so. Can he get the second one? Yes, he can, as he gets that's 2 eliminations now. 1 to tie it, 2 to win it. Let's see if he'll be able to get it overall. Now, of course, 7 engagements still remaining for him to take. Of course, that squad that eliminated HD NICKMERCS still lurking out there somewhere. So much
Legion.
Riding on the line. Landon needs to be held. Legion.
I do.
Did you just flex?
I did.
That's a solid try-by over there, dude.
I appreciate that.
Solid try-by. Fruitcake. Battling it out for really this is probably his heart has to be beating out of his chest at this point. Wise use of the bouncer pad. Try spot this player just ahead.
He's doing a great job as well as using a lot of these items.
Getting
just
the
for
high ground,
yeah, for vision, just overall for
He's like
transport
Cirque du Soleil,
sake.
basically,
Yes.
of making it on all these trampolines. It's like a Barnum and Bailey circus carnival style stuff going on. Everywhere that we see this guy is from one bounce pad to the other or rift to another. So 1 more elimination to tie this up. Will we see him take the lead? Or will we see NICKMERCS and HighDistortion get as lucky as humanly possible here, approaching? This is pretty much for all the marbles on the line here. If they do manage to gang, this could be a problem here.
Oh, and here he
Oh,
is.
he's
going
going
to make
for
his
it.
presence known. He's going for the Kobe. Will he be able to connect enough to get a knock? He does not, but he takes down that little 2x2. But wow, you talk about firepower being laid down on him. This enemy team wants him dead, and he doesn't want any part of that. Still throwing out more grenades there. Trying to spot a player, not able to get somebody just yet. Now he's in a build battle, trying to get that high ground up, and he does, in fact, win it. There's going to be a player down just below. He's going to go fire some shots on the player on the roof. Player's not going to go down. He does take about 66 shield off of him. He's going to be having to dip down, taking some massive shots. He's going to be just at 24 health. He needs 1 kill to tie it up.
Oh,
he's not
no!
going to get it. The Black Knight is, in fact, going to take him out, and that is going to be Fruitcake. What a valiant effort, but just 1 kill behind HD and NICKMERCS as they narrowly once again, with another close game, are going to move forward in this loser bracket. NICKMERCS HD, literally the last game, only 1 kill came down to it.
gosh.
Same here, 25 to 26. You talk about games coming down to the wire. Nick and HD can't get away from them, but they're still moving forward. And man, I got to tell you, Fruitcake,
He had
first
it.
time seeing
What
him.
an effort.
First time
yeah.
seeing him, but
Jeez.
man, he played so incredibly well.
Oh, he did.